Everybody, this is Dream, and today we have a couple really crazy slates in college basketball and NBA. For the college basketball slate, we have a 9 game slate, and for the NBA slate, we have 5 games. Both these slates do carry a bunch of injuries. The college basketball slate, which I will start with here first, is pretty wild today as every single game has at least a 10-point spread, but most of them have over 20. They also have all very similar totals in the 140 range, but then we have one game, NC State and Tennessee Martin, which is 164 points. That's the only outlier. We also have quite a few injuries in college basketball. So for Duke, Proctor is questionable. That would open up Foster if Proctor is out. That would give him a big boost. For UT Martin, Mendoza is out. For Minnesota, Payne, Garcia, and Wilson are all questionable, but Garcia is closer to doubtful. Ola Joseph and Hen and Fox would get a boost if all of those guys are out. For Coppin State, Winston is out and Fag Benley is out. For Oral Roberts, Phipps is out, excuse me. And for Texas Tech, Cambridge is out for the season. Walton and Williams will get a boost as a result of that. And for Oregon, Dante is out and Biddle is out. And Zarula is questionable. Evans and Diawara get a boost today. So this is going to be an interesting slate. Let's get into our core plays, or top plays rather, and core plays. Now, I've kind of differentiate this because all the home teams are the ones that are favored, so that definitely really gives them a big boost. There is some good plays in the bench in the underdogs as well. So, but I'll do those second after the home favorite players here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We'll start with Kadari Richmond here for Seton Hall. Now, he is somewhat risky today due to the price, but he is slightly overpriced, but he's been playing pretty well, and this matchup definitely does favor him. He's actually been pretty good in these type of games so far this season, so I do like his potential, though he does carry some risk. I do like his upside, though. I'm also going to look at Bediako here for Seton Hall, as he's played pretty solid throughout the season and has a pretty good floor and a pretty good ceiling as well at this price point, though he does also carry a little bit of risk with the blowout potential here in this game, which is going to be true for a lot of these games, so just keep that in mind. For Tennessee, Necht is probably the best option on the team. He's played, he has a high ceiling, though he has a lower floor than other players in his price range. So with the upside of the game, it definitely gives him some potential. But Tennessee is favored to win the game by 34 points, so he does carry some huge blowout risk. And sometimes he hasn't played a ton of minutes as a result of that. Looking at Duke, Caleb Foster definitely draws some nice upside today if Proctor is rolled out. As you can see, he's played pretty well so far in the last couple games when he's got more minutes. I do expect him to have a pretty good fantasy point day, especially in a matchup where Duke is favored to win by about 15 points, and it has one of the higher totals at 144 points on the slate. They were going to look at Filipowski. Now, he definitely carries a lot of potential here, but he's similar to other big guys that are super expensive like this. He does carry risk because in blowout type games, he does get lower minutes, and that would stifle his potential. So he definitely carries risk there. Looking at NC State, uh, we're going to look at Jaden Taylor is a core play for me. He is underpriced for his potential here. He's only had a couple bad games all season, and while he's got more bad games than I would like, this game is, they're favored. Those 2 games that he had rough games, they lost by quite a bit. He should have a pretty solid opportunity to have a big game here, even if he plays 25 to 30 minutes. NC State is favored to win the game by 20 points, so I look for him to be a solid play, and they have the highest scoring team on the slate by a lot, so I think he's a great option. Marcel for NC State also in play today. He's played fairly well throughout the season. He's got a lower floor, but this matchup definitely gives him some favoritism on the slate, especially with the price being so good. And then MJ Rice, also a great option on the slate, though he does carry some high risk, high reward. He only played 10 minutes in the last game. That was his first game played. However, he did score well. He does have some nice upside at this price if he can get more minutes, especially in a high scoring game like this. So he does carry a risk, I think, but he's definitely in play. Then we're going to look at Maryland here, and we'll look at Reese first. Now, Reese obviously does have a little bit of risk here due to blowout, as Maryland is favored to win by 21 points. But he's played very well throughout the season, and as far as the expensive options, he's probably my favorite once it's over 9,000, simply because he has the most upside to keep in the game and get enough minutes to pay off. Looking at Young for Maryland, he's also in a good spot here. I really like his upside today. I think he's relatively safe even if it does become more of a blowout, because even in 30 minutes, he's usually getting over 30 fantasy points. He's only had one off game this season, and that's one game that they didn't play well, but I expect him to play pretty well in this one, so he definitely carries a lot of potential. Then we're going to look at Minnesota here, and really, Ola Joseph, who I do think will be a primary starter today, has a lot of potential at this price point. He's very close to being a core play, but we do have to want to make sure that those guys are out. They are One guy is doubtful for them, and that is Garcia. So I think it's likely that Garcia doesn't play, and Ola Joseph does get a lot more minutes, and he has a great price point for that. Minnesota otherwise is somewhat hard to use today. Ishmael for Georgetown is a great option today for them. He's underpriced here, especially though he's only played a couple games so far. He's played very well, and he plays a full complement of minutes, and he gets a lot of shot opportunities. So he's also got a nice upside game here for Georgetown against Coppin State, which they're favored to win by 20, and I do think he's a great option on the slate. Epps for them is also in play. He's had some ups and downs this season, but he definitely draws some good potential today, and I do like his upside in this matchup. Though again, blowout risk does have an issue, and he's a little bit riskier than some of the other players in his price range just because he has a little bit of a lower floor. And then we'll look at, excuse me, uh, Walton for Texas Tech. Now, he should be the guy that jumps into the starting lineup, and if you look at his last game, he did very well. He really didn't ever play very many minutes before that game, and the two games he did play over 10 minutes, he didn't do much, but he is somewhat scoring dependent. As you can see, he hit 6 threes in the last game. If he does play and start, then he'll have a lot of opportunity to get some points. Obviously, he probably won't shoot quite as good as he did against Omaha, but this game does have some blow-up potential, as it is a 12-point favorite for Texas Tech, or sorry, a 13-point favorite for Texas Tech with all the injuries there. And so I like his potential here anyway when he draws the start. So make sure he does draw the start there to utilize him. Then we're going to look at our players that I think are great that are from the underdog teams, and we'll start with Oral Roberts. Um, Now, I don't love him, but he's a decent option here. It's Isaac McBride. Now, this game, Oral Roberts is not favored to do particularly well here. They are favored to lose by 13 points, but that is close enough to give him a lot of potential. He's been playing about 40 minutes a game all season long, regardless of the outcome of each game. Though they haven't gotten blown out too much. They had a couple of 15-point games, but he still played almost 40 minutes in all those. And so that does give him a lot of potential. His price is pretty high, but he's been meeting what we need in all but one game this season, so he definitely has some nice upside in this one. Looking at Coppin State, I do like Spurlock here for them, though he does carry a lot of risk. His price is okay, but he has the low floor. Early in the season, he had a couple really rough games, but his minutes have been a lot more consistent lately, and I don't think his minutes are going to get hurt based on this game being a blowout. Georgetown's not a good defensive team either, so that does give him some upside. Then we're going to look at Uipui, and I really do like a couple guys from Uipui, Counter being one of them. He's played very well so far this season. Even with blowouts, it doesn't seem to affect his play. He has good potential in this one, and I like his fantasy point production and price. Then we'll look at DJ Jackson. Now, he's a great value play for Uipui. He's not playing a ton of minutes, but he's not having any bad games when it comes to his price, just at $3,800. He doesn't need but about 15, 16 fantasy points, and as you can see, he's been pretty solid. Now, he's not a must play, but he's a decent play due to the price point and his potential to get over 15 fantasy points. He just won't hurt you, probably, at least. That's the goal. Looking at our Tennessee Martin team here, we've got several guys that I like from them, Counter being one of them. Um, Oopsie, what did I just do? Sorry. Uh, where did he go? Oh, sorry, not Counter. Cruz being one of them. Sorry about that, guys. I got lost here. His price is really good for his potential here. He's been absolutely dominating for this team all season long. His price is really good for his production. Now, they haven't really been blown out too many times. But he definitely draws some potential in this one, so he's definitely worth a look. He does carry some risk because, again, like I said, they haven't been blown out very much. But he has done good in the games that they have had that rough outing, and they are favored to lose by 20 points. But this has the highest scoring total on the slate by a lot, so that does give him some potential here. Looking at Sears, he's also got some upside, though his price is a little bit higher. He's a little bit riskier as his minutes are a little bit more contrarian, but most of their guys play a lot of minutes, and so I look for them to play a lot of minutes in this game anyway. And then Isa Muhammad also in play for them. He carries a little bit more risk than the top two guys, but he has had some monster games, and the blowout situation also doesn't seem to hurt his fantasy output too much, and his price is pretty fair. Then we'll look at Monmouth here. And we'll start with Collins, who has played pretty well so far this season. He does get a lot of minutes. His price is really cheap here, which gives him some upside, and he's definitely drawn some good potential today. And then a riskier option is Valencia, who has also played decent minutes and has a good price point here for his potential. Even in blowouts, he's done pretty solid, so I like his upside as well. So with that said, guys, that's what I have for college basketball. Let's move over to the NBA now. And you'll see that Jamal Murray is one of my core plays. And right now, he's the only core play, but this slate is pretty interesting. We have a lot of injuries to be concerned about. For the Lakers, LeBron, Davis, and Vanderbilt are questionable, and Vincent is out. It's possible that the Lakers sit out all their guys today. For the Mavs, Hardaway Jr., Jones are both questionable, and then Kyrie is out. Williams is out. Green is out. That opens up a lot of potential there if those guys get those questionable tags are out. For the Cavs, Mobley and Levert are questionable. That could open up some options. The Celtics and Nuggets are at full strength. For the Bulls, Caruso is questionable. Levine is out. Though they do face a tough matchup against the Nuggets, that does open up some value from the Bulls. For the Warriors, Payton is out. For the Suns, Durant is questionable and Allen is out. Beal is back, so expect Beal to play in this one. If Durant gets to be ruled out, then Booker and Beal would definitely get some upside there. For the Kings, full strength today, and for the Clippers, Plumlee is out. So this slate is kind of ridiculous so far, at least. Overall, the slate is awful on the surface. The questionable marks will definitely give some potential for a great slate if we can see the Lakers take the game off, or if the Mavs have a lot of guys out. If Mobley and Levert miss for Cleveland, that would open up some value, but that game versus Boston is a slowdown game for both teams, so I do think that's risky. I do think the Nuggets have upside today, but there's a lot of risk of a blowout there. The Warriors Suns game could be a vital game for DFS, as well as the Kings and Clippers. Stacking the Clippers with and Warriors and Suns may be the play, but we'll have to wait and see how these injuries play out. But I do have some plays to talk about today, so let's get into those. We'll start with Jamal Murray, who is a core play for Denver. He's just priced really fairly. He's been solid all season when he does play. He's been hurt a couple times, but I like his upside in this matchup, and he's played really well the last few games. I look for him to have a big game here in a very plus matchup against Chicago. Then we're going to look at DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White for Chicago. Um, so DeRozan has played very well with Levine out. His fantasy production has been up as a result. I do like his upside today, though he does carry some risk because this is a back-to-back game, and Denver is one of the better defensive teams in the country. Looking at White, he also has fared very well with Levine out, though his price has come up. He should be a popular play today, regardless of the fact that they played yesterday. But I do think that does make them carry some risk, especially with Murray back and stuff as well. Though we're going to look at Golden State here. For the Warriors, Klay Thompson looks like an interesting play today. I really like his potential in this one as he's played very well recently. His minutes have gone up a lot, and he's really getting a lot of shots and opportunities. So he's scoring a lot of fantasy points. His price has also come up as a result of that. But I do like his potential in this game, especially in a faster pace game like Golden State and Phoenix will probably play here. Steph Curry also in play on this one, as he's played very well lately. He's been 5 of the last 6 games over 46 fantasy points. His price is still under 10K, so as long as he stays under 10K, he's going to be a near must play as we look at this type of slate, especially on these smaller slates where he has the potential to have absolutely monster games. Then we're going to get into some expensive options. First being Nikola Joker, he has played extremely well lately. He's just a dominating force. The actual risk with him today is that this game could be a blowout with the Bulls on a back-to-back.
and so he could be a little bit more limited as a result. But if you want to go contrarian off of him, then Doncic could be the great option as he's going to be facing the Lakers, who aren't great defensively, and he is playing extremely well. He actually scored 64 fantasy points against the Lakers last time he played them, and he's been playing well for a while. Um, and with all the injuries to Dallas, his insane usage might actually go up a little bit more. So I expect him to try to get to the line and get free throws often throughout the game, and I look for him to have a big one. Then I'm going to talk about the Clippers. Now, this is where it gets kind of funky. So typically, you kind of want to avoid the Clippers, but their prices have gone down some, and that definitely is helpful in daily fantasy. If we look at Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, all three of these guys are actually doing pretty well right now, and they're all priced in the same range. Now, two of the three of these guys will definitely 5x in this game, I think, because this should be a high-scoring, fast-paced game for the Clippers compared to how they normally play, because they're playing the Kings, who like to push the ball and go fast. I think Harden and Kawhi are the safest options today because of the three of them, those two have been over 5x in 4 of the last 6 games. Paul George, though, does carry some upsides. He's been the had the highest floor in those 3 games, but he's also got the highest price on the slate. So he's only uh, he's only been over 5x in 2 of the last 6, but he's been very close in all three. You could definitely stack all three and kind of try to do that today, but that would definitely give you some upside potential as well. But there are definitely some risk in playing with the Clippers because of the way that their lineup is your roster is constructed right now. So with that said, guys, I think these slates are pretty wild. It's definitely going to be a slate where I play lighter than I normally do. So do keep that in mind. But if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. And have a nice day, guys.